This week, the world lost an average man. Dan Cain died. With that being said, welcome to World Class Bullshitters, the epitome of pop culture. I'm your host, Jeff Hicks, and with me tonight is Dion Green.
Baby, ladies and gentlemen, the man with the plan and the original tan is in the motherfucking building. You're welcome.
Dr. Phil Seitz.
Well, I'm next.
And finally, the man who furiously masturbates to Steven Universe, Dustin McNeese.
I started Narcotics Anonymous this week, which of course is the drug version of AA. Hopefully I find a reliable coke dealer. Trump 2016.
So Dan's dead, so you can't go.
Oh my god, that would stop his heart on the first snort. Well, we're at episode 38 of World Class Bullshitters, and we're nearing that episode 50 benchmark, so be prepared for a big episode in the future. But tonight, we're bringing you something massive, something giant, and it comes from Dustin. So, after the news, we are going to present you with one of our biggest topics yet. So, before we get into that, let's talk about the news, because next week it's irrelevant. Phil, you have news.
I do. I have a great news story. Police say a young woman has lodged a formal complaint that she has been raped by a Pokemon. This, I shit you not, is a real news story. She told officers that she had been sexually assaulted by a giant Pokemon in her apartment in the Russian capital of Moscow. A married woman, whose name was not released, had reportedly been playing Pokemon Go before she fell asleep. She claimed that when she woke up, she found a huge Pokemon lying on top of her and says it was raping her. The woman says the Pokemon disappeared when she jumped out of bed, but says the Pokemon Go app on her phone could still detect the same creature in the presence of her room. She woke up her husband to tell him what had happened, who told officers, and they, of course, did not believe her and told her to seek psychiatric help. Russian news website Blocknot reports that the police did not believe her or her husband, and then told her to see a psychiatrist. Instead, she went to see a psychic. She went to see a psychic instead. That's
you guys
it.
all thought I was an idiot when I bought that giant Pikachu costume.
She says there's too many Pokemon in her home. Even the dog can sense them. She says the dog barks whenever she plays Pokemon Go. Mr. Marakov said that his friend had eventually accepted her husband's advice in desperation and booked an appointment with a psychiatrist. So a happy end.
What a fucking retarded story!
Happy ending for the Pokemon. Got away with it.
I know Dustin hasn't been to Russia lately, or else I'd believe his end of the story, but this one was fucking psycho.
Here's the best part. Somebody I work with believes her. She said, "You've never heard of succubuses?" I was like, "Oh, Jesus, here we go."
Look, I will never say where you work on air, but your job needs to reevaluate who they hire, because you are working with a retarded person.
They hired me, damn it.
You are the retarded person, but you're also a doctor, so I can understand.
As long as it's not a government job, I'm sure there's nothing to worry about.
Oh, no, you're safe.
It is a government job.
That was the joke.
Phil, do you have any other news for this week? I don't know if you can top that story.
It's not a big piece of news. Ian McGregor was asked in an interview at the Edinburgh Film Festival what he thought about a standalone Obi-Wan Kenobi solo movie.
Is that where he and Han Solo have gay marriage? Disney's whole liberal leanings?
No, solo is in the literal meaning.
Just when I thought they couldn't fuck up Star Wars anymore, they make Han Solo gay.
Well, and that was my... He was he was quoted saying, "I'd be more than happy to do the story between episodes 3 and 4. Somebody contact Disney." I mean, what do you guys? I liked Ian McGregor as Obi-Wan Kenobi. I don't know what you guys thought of him.
I like him.
I like
him so much that I don't even care about Alec Guinness anymore.
The only thing I don't like about Ewan McGregor is that movie where he made out with Jim Carrey.
Oh, I love you, Philip Morris.
Morris, yeah.
Well, this movie this article that I read was attached to a YouTube video of a fan-made trailer for the aforementioned film. So if you guys want to check it out, Obi-Wan Kenobi, A Star Wars Story.
Here's the question I have for this hypothetical film that'll probably never get made.
Probably.
Obi-Wan does not leave Tatooine, we think. So where would he go? Like, what would be his mission? Because his mission is to protect Luke and oversee him through the years. And we know that Luke and Aunt Beru and Uncle Owen have interacted with Obi-Wan since Luke has been adopted by the Lars family. So are we going to have like a story where Obi-Wan leaves the planet and has to rush back just in case the Empire catches Luke? That seems kind of too much. Like, I can buy Rogue One because they're not going to alter the events of the other movie. But now it's getting to a point where it's like, if we do this Obi-Wan movie, what can he go do without Luke being in danger and all this other dumb shit?
Well, I did see something to where apparently he got into a big feud with the Hutts, Jabba the Hutt, and so on. So that could be a potential storyline, but I don't know how far that can go without leaving the planet.
That
would
be
cool idea. If they did like a Star Wars Mafia movie where we see how much of a gangster Jabba the Hutt is.
Oh yeah.
And it's like Casino, but with Obi-Wan, and that would be cool.
We got
what I saw was a comic. It was a comic that was released a couple months ago, and that was the storyline of the comic, that he feuded with the Hutts.
That would be sweet, Dustin. I'm with you. I think that'd be a great idea. Star Wars Mafia movie.
If they're going to do a war film, just do a bunch of different genre films with Star Wars characters.
No romance and no straight up comedy though, unless it's something completely absurd.
True.
And like in a short.
They could do like a 10 Mos Espa Lane where he has all the Luke's family trapped inside their little hut because there's a Star Destroyer going overhead and they don't believe him, so he just keeps them all captive inside.
That would be amazing. I want to see that. Blue milk for everybody.
Oh,
it's been a pretty good week as a Star Wars fan. I actually watched Star Wars twice, so
nice.
That's saying something. I'm over.
I loved your Facebook post. I'm ready to love again.
Yeah, as I was watching episode 4, I was like, I'm glad I'm watching this fucking movie. It makes me happy.
Yeah.
I started watching Clone Wars last night on Netflix, and I'd only seen a few episodes with you, Jeff, when we were at State, but that's a damn good show.
Mm-hmm. And another thing I like about that is it shows the fact that Obi-Wan Kenobi isn't like the perfect Jedi, because he had a relationship with this woman who you'll meet in later episodes. It's like fucking her, and it's not even just like implied. It's like, we had a relationship, blah blah blah. So we know he broke that Jedi code. So it makes Obi-Wan a little cooler in my book.
Yeah, no, that's actually one of the episodes you and I watched. She's some politician, right?
Yeah, the Duchess Satine.
Yeah, and so they had a thing, and that was cool because that showed me that he was kind of like Qui-Gon in the sense that he's not, very rigid black and white. Like, he's still a human being, and that was interesting.
I guess he figured since all the rest of the Jedi are dead, why obey the laws anymore?
Well, this was during the Clone Wars, man, when all the Jedi were still alive.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Yeah. And the thing is, the relationship, it was implied that it took place like years before, like maybe 10 years before. So this is when he was like super young. So we're talking like episode 1 Obi-Wan was hitting it. So I like
he could use the handle of his lightsaber in her ass. But hear me out. He turned it on. Obviously, the laser is going out of her, but that vibration,
that's some powerful shit.
You have to think, though, that Star Wars has crazy sex toys. Because in our world, we have like robotics, things that you can fuck, fleshlights, vibrators that race, all this other shit in the real world. Just think what Star Wars could have.
Here's an image for you.
God.
A fleshlight for Jabba the Hutt.
Oh, is it one of his roles?
Probably.
Hey, Phil, are you aware that Jabba the Hutt has a tattoo?
I don't care.
Just throwing a little bit of Star Wars trivia out there for you. But Rogue One will be out in a few months, and we'll all go see it. But I'm sure we'll have
I'm
more to say about Star Wars.
I'm
Dion.
excited about Rogue One.
Yes,
Well, really
sir.
quick, can I touch on Rogue One again?
Yeah, of course.
We had some commenter on the Rogue One trailer review named Stormbreaker 2012 who accused us of doing paid reviews. And so, Jeff, I'm asking you, where's my check?
Yeah, where's mine?
I'm going to ask Stormbringer. Is that his name?
Stormbringer 2012. Now, here's how you find him. You look for the craziest looking caveman asshole who has Jesus and Satan arm wrestling as his YouTube cover photo.
Well, I would just like to send a direct message to this man. Sir, if we are being paid, please let me know where the fucking money is, because I don't have much cash on me, and I'd love to get paid to review Star Wars. And if you think we're like shills for Sony, or not Sony, for Disney, go listen to my review of Episode 7, and listen to every episode where I systematically shit on Star Wars from December to before last week's episode. I'm not in love with the new Star Wars. I like the prospects of this Star Wars movie, and I'm excited because it maybe will bring back the excitement of like 1996 for me, pre-special edition, when Star Wars was a whole new thing. But getting paid is just wrong, man. I mean, if you want to pay us to review something, gladly. But there's no money exchanging hands. We have less than 2,000 subscribers. I wish we were getting paid.
That's what I was gonna say. We're being paid, then where the fuck are our subscribers?
Oh, hold on.
When I asked him, like, you know, about the whole check thing, all he said was, "Time will tell." And then I imagine he went and jerked off while reading the Bible. So that's okay.
And while we're talking about fans real quick, I'm going to give a quick shout out to our listener of the week, Wendy Hull. And another shout out to Cape Crusader. He requested it, and I said, because you keep the streets of Gotham safe, Batman, we will give you a shout out. And Brian Lape, by the way, we know you listen to the show every week. You had mentioned something about beer, and I forgot what video it was on, so that's why I didn't respond to you. And by the way, he's a local listener. He told us about wanting to meet up with us at a comic convention. So down the road,
potentially dangerous.
He's an older dude. He doesn't seem too dangerous. He's going to some convention this weekend. So Brian, have a good time at that Comic-Con in Dayton. Dion and I will be getting drunk all weekend.
Well, also the president, I want to give a shout out to him. We talk about him a lot, but I'm reading the comments, and he is very knowledgeable about our podcast because somebody will ask a question and be like, "Hey, can you guys talk about this?" And he will direct them specifically to a video where we already talked about it. That's more knowledgeable than I am.
I fucking upload the videos, and Og knows more than me. So Og's for president. I've said this to you in the comments section. I will say it again on air. You are like the fifth Beatle of world-class bullshitters. And when we finally get that second channel up where we do stuff with fans, you are the first person to be interviewed, sir. So thank you for all your support. I know you lamented the fact that you couldn't buy a t-shirt. You know what, man? Keep doing what you're doing. Spread the word. You are helping world-class bullshitters grow, and we appreciate it more than you could possibly imagine.
Speaking of t-shirts, Incarnate Studios, don't forget the hyphen, has just released a new batch of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia t-shirts. Jeff, do you want to tell them a little more about that?
Yeah, I do. If you like that show and you have a gang of your own in real life, you need to check out Incarnate Studios gang t-shirts. One for the looks, one for the brains, one for the muscle, one for the wild card, and even one for the useless chick. And if you got a fifth wheel who's kind of a douche canoe, you can get a man's useless chick t-shirt as well. We also got, in the coming days, Dr. Mantis Toboggan, the Pecan Sandies, and the Dentist System will also be released. So if you're like me and you love It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, make sure you check out IncarnateStudios.com. Don't forget the hyphen between Incarnate and Studios, and click on shirts, and you will see not only the It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia collection, you will see Shitbusters, Donald Trump, Hillary Clinton, the official World Class Bullshitters t-shirt, Beat Up John Cena. We got something for everybody. If you're into TVs, movies, games, it's all there. So check out Incarnate Studios, and now they'll let us keep the lights on. So Dion, would you like to talk about the news that you have?
Oh, perfect segue, by the way. First thing I had was that Natalie Portman is reportedly, according to her, done with Marvel. She says, quote, "As far as I know, I'm done. I don't know if maybe one day they'll ask for an Avengers 7 or whatever, but I have no idea. But as far as I know, I'm done, and it was a great thing to be a part of." So for me, I was hoping, especially with Thor Ragnarok coming out, to see a little bit more of Dr. Jane Foster. But with this, it's kind of actually makes me sad. But I'm not like sad, like, oh, they totally need to have her in the movie. It's just kind of one of those, want to have my cake and eat it too type of moments. But what do you guys think of that?
They should have killed her off.
I want to see Kat Dennings' big tits. So if we can get Darcy minus Jane Foster, I'm cool with that.
My problem is she's such a big part of like Thor's character. I mean, if you watch Age of Ultron, one of the best scenes was Thor and Tony Stark comparing their girlfriends. And now we're so far into Marvel that neither of those women are around anymore. They're just gone, and that's kind of a weird. I know that's strange to me.
I definitely understand where you're coming from. The only thing I will say to justify her not being in it is Thor Ragnarok is all on Asgard. And because in Age of Ultron we specifically state where Jane is, and Thor's needed elsewhere, I'm okay with her not being in the story. I did think it was a little weird that Pepper Potts was nowhere to be seen in Civil War.
Civil War, yeah.
But I guess it's because Gwyneth Paltrow's a loon or something. You know, she's worried about Goop.com. So,
well, with Natalie Portman not being in Thor, there's rumors of the other love interest played by what's-her-face.
Oh, Jamie, Lady Sif. I know who you're talking about exactly.
Do we have any idea what her character is?
Yeah, the Lady Sif, she's in the other two Thor movies. Remember there's that tension between her and Natalie Portman already?
Oh, okay,
She's the brunette chick, yeah.
Yeah, she's really
I got
cute.
you. Okay, yeah, I remember.
You're thinking of Valkyrie, who's going to be in Thor Ragnarok.
It would just be weird if, like, Thor really loves, Jane, and that's the reason that he keeps helping out Earth or whatever, and then he just, like, cheats on her with some bitch that's always played second fiddle. That'd just be weird.
Yep, fuck Earth.
I'm with you on that. I just wish they would have set up the drama a little more. Kind of like in the original Star Wars. When you watch Empire, there is a love triangle between Han, Luke, and Leia, and it shows on the face of Han and Luke when they're saying their goodbyes on Hoth. I wish they would have played more into that in Thor, but they didn't.
They did kind of lean like that was what they were going for too. When they show it in the preview and they show her walking past Sif and Sif looking at her like I can't fucking stand you, and she looks back at her. And I thought that going into the Dark World they were going to play on that a lot more. And then I was definitely surprised when actually seeing the movie that they have like damn near zero interaction whatsoever besides that like one moment.
And I'm hoping, just like in Star Wars, that Sif turns out to be his sister. That would be kinky.
Well, Marvel's not going to show it, but they'll say it.
We'll find a parody on Pornhub within a week.
Shit, there's probably a parody right now. I mean, I saw China paint herself like the Incredible She-Hulk and fuck a dude dressed as Hawkeye? I don't know exactly who he was dressed as. I wasn't paying attention to him, but I just
That's really talented considering that she's like 6 feet under to be able to get all that makeup and
China.
It's called dedication, Dustin.
More like dead. Yeah.
Oh, God damn it, Dion. What's next?
That's nice. That's real nice. Keeping it classy. For Spider-Man news, Spider-Man Homecoming. Rumor is that they have found an actress to play Mary Jane, and they reportedly have decided that it's, I guess, singer. I've never heard of this chick before. Zendaya, and she's supposedly supposed to be the person that's going to play Mary Jane in Spider-Man Homecoming.
I wish fucking singers, rappers, I don't care what kind of fucking musician you are, stick with your craft. Stop fucking acting. You may suck at whatever you do now. Quit trying to suck at everything else. You're ruining everything.
Is this Zendaya girl a natural redhead?
No, she's black.
She's black, yeah.
And that's not okay with me. Mary Jane's a white chick with red hair. Just make Zendaya or Zendaya a new character, put her in this movie, and make her a high school friend of Spider-Man who he loses touch with once he goes to college and meets Mary Jane and Gwen Stacy and Harry Osborn. You can put all your ethnic people in this movie, but make them new characters. Let Harry and Mary Jane and Gwen and Flash Thompson all be white people with red and blonde and brown hair, and just, stay true to the comic book. Marvel has not fucked around yet, but they're starting to get into this SJW bullshit, starting with Thor Ragnarok, and I'm not cool with it. And before anyone in the comment section goes, oh, what about Nick Fury? Nick Fury's white in the comics. You just don't know that Ultimate Nick Fury has always been Samuel L. Jackson, and they just cast the guy they base the character off of in the book, so it's perfect synergy.
Yeah, for me, it pisses me off because it's, I don't, want to see some goddamn entertainer where it's clearly simply a move to get fucking dumb kids to watch this, people who don't care about the property, don't care about the actual character, to watch this movie. And like I said, I don't know anything about her. I highly doubt she's, as talented as they think she is. Especially since I haven't seen her in anything. I doubt she's able to play fucking Mary Jane.
She's a Disney Channel character actor.
Right. So it's gonna be some hammed up performance by this chick in a fucking silly ass attempt to get people to spend money to come to the movie. I mean, it's like, get someone who looks like Mary Jane, who can be Mary Jane, who's fucking charming enough to be Mary Jane. And this random Disney chick who probably can't act anyway, because Disney's not exactly known for acting on the Disney Channel. And that's the part that pisses me off the most. It's like she doesn't fit the bill in any way, shape, or form, talent or look wise.
I mean, the only thing
in my opinion, with Spider-Man, they're gonna come see it because it's fucking Spider-Man. They're not gonna come see it because there's some black chick in it. They're gonna come see it because it's Spider-Man. It's Marvel. And the Spider-Man was really good in Civil War, so that's already selling tickets.
Yeah, and I just feel like they're trying to push an agenda because they're like, oh, we can do it under the guise of Spider-Man, and it's not. These franchise movies aren't the platform for your stupid political agendas. I'll buy that Peter Parker goes to high school with all these. Like, okay, we got an Indian guy, some black guy, and this girl is his friends in high school. I'll buy it, but that is not Harry Osborn, Gwen Stacy, Mary Jane. Fuck, if you want to be technical, they don't even introduce those characters until Peter's in college, which, by the way, Spider fans that only watch the cartoons from the 90s, by the way, he's in college there too. Spider-Man's only in high school for like the first 31 issues, so when you harp online about how you're a true fan and you want to get back to the core of the character, for roughly 5% of his entire run existence, not even 5% if you count every issue of Spider-Man, he is in high school, so just putting that out there for the hardcore Spider fans that got their Hot Topic t-shirts and their hoodies. Just being cynical.
Do we know if this movie takes place before or after Civil War?
It has to take place after because he wears the costume from the Civil War movie.
Okay.
There's already pictures of him wearing it.
I was just wondering because I really don't want to see another fucking origin story.
Honestly, for the most part, Marvel films are chronological. I mean, yeah, you have like a flashback to World War II with Captain America 1 and stuff, but I mean, these are sequential. It's very straightforward storytelling.
And I love when they do flashbacks, especially in Civil War and Ant-Man. I thought those were excellent.
Yes.
Dion, do you have anything else?
Yes, I do. This one was mainly because it was entertaining as shit for me. But obviously, as you guys know, the Olympics are going on, and they recently finished the swimming portion of the Olympics. And one of the athletes, Ryan Lochte, who's I guess mainly known not just for swimming but being a fucking tool, recently had come out, I think, last Wednesday or so, that he and two other swimmers were held up at gunpoint by someone pretending to be a Rio police officer and took their money. Well, then come to find out, it's after they took their statement, they noticed a lot of discrepancies in their stories. One, namely, being that Ryan Lochte said it was one guy. The guys that he was with said it was multiple people. And so, come to find out, there was a camera where this alleged incident took place, and it was Ryan Lochte. His two pals were drunk as shit, got a taxi to this gas station, and after they couldn't get into one of the bathrooms, they proceeded to piss all over the place. And then a random patron or someone had a gun as they tried to flee and held them up. There's some type of conversation, and they paid the guy money to let him go. So that's when they got back to the Olympic Village, and then it was super early. Someone asked them where they were, and they said, "Oh, someone tried to fucking rob us." So it's all. And after the fucking authorities found out, Ryan Lochte's ass ran back to the States, but the two other swimmers got pulled off the plane before the plane could take off. And that's where the cops were talking to him and essentially, I guess, got them to admit that it was made up. So
the Olympics are a mess.
It's just, it was, the perfect cherry on the top of this fucking round of Olympics, man.
Just don't go to shitty countries anymore, Olympic committee. Just go to cool places.
Epic fail.
I mean, Brazil has really hot women, but their country looks like a turd. Apparently smells like one too.
Yeah, it's a pretty fucked up place. But I just, the last round of Olympics in 2012, shortly after he won his medals, he had this stupid fucking show. What would Ryan Lochte do? and it was just him being a fucking tool. You know, and for me, first hearing that he had got held up, you know, Hill and I were talking, we're just like, yeah, it's very possible that he made this shit up. And sure enough, man, it's just, and not to mention he fucking dyed his hair white before the Olympics, so he already looked like a fucking goober. And then come to find out the dude just got shit faced, and instead of admitting he got shit faced, was like, oh god, I got robbed while I was on my way back. I was like, you couldn't even come up with a better lie?
Oh, well, Dustin, why don't you close it out, because you're the journalist of World Class Bullshitters, and you have some really good news.
Sure. Well, it's not good news. So, Dion, last week we talked. You were thinking about getting No Man's Sky. And then I pointed out that you were lied to by Sean Murray, the project director there, who promised originally multiplayer, and then when it came out, there was none. Well, now he's under fire again, because on the day that the game was launched, in a previous interview, he promised that all DLC would be free for the game. And then a few days after release, all of a sudden comes out and goes, well, not really. I mean, stuff costs money, so we're going to have to charge. So, the Sean Murray character, big liar, don't support the game. What do you guys think?
Definitely don't support this game.
I wasn't going to buy this game, and now I'm definitely not even going to tell people about it.
Right, I mean, this is one of the biggest releases of the year. You know, it kept getting pushed back and a lot of hype for it. And now that it's come out, it was pretty much all hype and a lot of false promises. But speaking of video games, there's a new Metal Gear Solid game on the horizon. Konami, who recently parted ways with the highly revered Hideo Kojima, said they're releasing Metal Gear Survive, which takes place between Metal Gear Solid 5 Ground Zero and Metal Gear Solid 5 The Phantom Pain. The story occurs in an alternate universe where players are sucked through a black hole and have to battle not only giant metal mech gear, but zombies as well.
Cool.
The 4-person stealth co-op is set for release on the PS4, Xbox One, and PC sometime in 2017. How are zombies still a thing?
It's Konami and they're behind.
Yeah, they love to latch on the fads, and they think that shit's still going to make a lot of money. Which, you know, I'm sure it probably fucking will.
Am I the only one here that feels like the video game industry's got a lot of problems and people are just getting fed up with their shit?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm definitely on the board that eventually this bubble's gonna pop, because especially with, you know, luckily Dustin brought it to light, but you know, I mean for me as it was, but you know, fucking this guy made all these promises, this game-changing game, you know, but then that's not the first time that's happened. They said the same thing about Destiny, how Destiny was going to change the fucking game. And then you have that French motherfucker who was making fucking Rain and that fucking dumb movie, essentially it was a movie with William Dafoe and the chick who's a lesbian. What was that fucking game?
Blood Rain?
No, the one
Two
where
Souls?
it was like, thank you, Two Souls, and he is on this belief that all games should essentially be movies, and like this shit like this keeps happening. All this money's dumped into these games, and they end up not being very fucking good.
Nope.
You know, and it's like this bubble's eventually gonna pop, and these companies can't keep doing this shit.
With the exception of Rockstar and Grand Theft Auto 5, every big title that I've been interested in has had some piece of bullshit that made me not buy it. For example, Star Wars Battlefront. Great concept, won't buy the game because I want a fucking single-player mode, okay? What happens when the servers go offline permanently? I'm stuck with a fucking disc and some DLC that I paid for that I will not get to use. Online gaming's great to a degree, but this online-only bullshit is not the future. It's a fucking problem.
Right. And I actually bought fucking Battlefront.
I just picked up Destiny, and I was playing by myself, and something happened with my kids, so I went to pause the game to go check on them or whatever, and the game kept going because it's always online. And that's an issue to me. I can't even pause a game where I'm the only one in it. That's fucking retarded.
I didn't even know that was a thing. I'm glad I didn't buy Destiny.
Yeah, you couldn't pause. Even when you're playing single player, you couldn't pause the game.
What's Bungie's train of thought? Why is that a good idea?
I don't know, but they're getting ready to release another DLC, and apparently they're getting ready to announce Destiny 2. So I don't know what they're thinking behind that shit.
Well, I ain't buying it. I didn't buy the first one. Fuck you, Bungie.
I enjoyed Destiny when it first came out, and they did a big update, and they lost me.
Well, I know you were
parts that. Well, they took parts that were already in the game. Like for instance, one of the like the guy that the little thing that leads you through the game, they changed his voice. And not only did they change it in like the updated downloads, like the new DLC that came out, but they went back and they changed everything that was already in the game.
They got rid of Peter Dinklage?
Yeah,
people apparently didn't like that though. I guess that was one of the improvements that people talked about, was that he's apparently, and again, I didn't buy Destiny, but they were saying that he sounded essentially horrible. He just was monotone the whole time. And again, I don't know, but that was one of the few good things people were saying about the fucking game.
I listened to videos that compared the voice acting, and I don't know what the fuck they thought by even like putting that in the game originally, but he had no life in his voice. At least the new guy sounds like interested in what's happening to your character.
but the thing is, he's a robot. He's a little robot. He's not supposed to have emotions or any of that shit.
Yeah, but look at C-3PO. At least he had inflection in his voice. Imagine how shitty he would be. I know, Dustin, you don't like him already, but imagine how much shittier he would be if he's like, "Oh my God, Master Luke, we are going to die. Danger, danger, Will Robinson."
Right. No, I think you need emotion in robots because that's going to help humanize them and make you more comfortable around them. If you have some monotonic, I don't know. I think it was an improvement.
I didn't even know
yeah.
that was a thing, though. I don't really give a shit about gaming that much anymore.
I only do a few games. I only have like 2 or 3 games on my shelf at a time. Then I'll just trade them in. But
for as much as I like the PlayStation 3 and 4, they're the two systems that I've bought the fewest games for.
well, now that we're older, though, we're spending money on like adult things and responsibilities and shit. So we can't just keep begging for money for video games.
True, but there's just not even anything on the market that excites me. I mean, if there was something that I was like, oh my God, I gotta get it, I would buy it. That's not even a problem. But there's just nothing that makes me go, I want to spend 20 hours playing this game. I'll play something for like 5 or 10 minutes, or I'll play Grand Theft Auto, and that's about it. That's about all I'll do.
I myself am a huge gamer, and the only thing that I'm excited coming out this year is Gears of War 4. So, and I used to get 10 fucking games every fall,
Oh, I know, believe me. I mean, I've been friends with you for about 5 years now, so I know your gaming habit, but for you to say that you're cutting back is the biggest surprise of all.
Yep.
So Suicide Squad has officially passed the $500 million mark.
God damn it.
Thus far, the Warner Brothers DC film has raked in $509 million, and it has yet to be released in Germany and Japan. Those markets open up next week and next month, respectively. Suicide Squad maintained its spot at number 1 the past 2 weeks, even though it saw a 67% drop in ticket sales from its opening weekend. It currently holds the record for the highest August opening ever, edging out Marvel's 2014 film Guardians of the Galaxy. The film currently sits at a 26% on Rotten Tomatoes.
I can't believe it keeps going down. I'm going to release a video in the coming weeks about why DC's fucked. And I don't care what keyboard warriors want to sit and tell me, oh, but these movies are making so much money. No. There's novelty behind the Suicide Squad, and there was novelty behind Batman v Superman. And both times you shit in the general public's mouth. Those movies aren't widely praised. The people that like comic books like those movies. Hell, I like comic books. I don't really like those movies. So I don't know where that argument's going to stand in the future. But here's the thing. Screw me once, shame on you. Screw me twice, shame on me. Well, these people have been screwed twice. I don't think they're going to come around for a third time with Wonder Woman and Justice League. I don't think people, the general audience, is going to give a fuck.
I just read an editorial talking about, like, DC has dug themselves in such a hole that 1 movie isn't going to save the franchise. 2 movies isn't going to save the franchise. From here on out, through their 11 movies that they have planned, they need to all be like 80% or better, because there's such a bad taste in people's mouth now that you do one good one and then you do a shitty one. I mean, you're fucked.
Well, like I've said on multiple videos, and I'll say it again for the people that only listen to one video, Wonder Woman's going to get massive critical praise because it's Wonder Woman. It doesn't have to be a good movie. It could, like I said, she could be sitting on a snare drum for farting for 2 hours. These critics, these agenda-driven assholes, are going to praise this movie no matter what. So Wonder Woman they're fortunate that Wonder Woman is next because it's going to get all this great praise, and retroactively through history, people are like, oh, that was a great movie everyone loved. People hate Ghostbusters, but it has high reviews because this agenda-driven bullshit. Now, Justice League, on the other hand, can sink or swim either way. I don't know. That's the one that is up in the air, but Wonder Woman's going to succeed because of the narrative behind the creation of the movie.
Right, and they have a woman director, and so it's all these things they're stacking up against it. They're making an impenetrable wall that if you even hurl one criticism at it, you're going to be called a racist or sexist or homophobe, whatever the fuck.
Yeah, I say this. World Class Bullshitters is going to give you the most honest appraisal of the film, every film, because you know what? We don't have a benefit, or we don't have any kind of stake in these movies. We just tell you like it is. If it sucks, it sucks. If it's great, it's great. We love Sausage Party. We didn't like Suicide Squad. You know, take that for what it is.
Right, and as much shit as we give the Star Wars movies, I mean, well, the majority of us anyway, you know, we were all overly excited about, you know, Rogue Squadron. We liked the trailer. We were excited about what it was implying. You know, we're not going to give you this bullshit to get likes and to get views, unlike, you know, and even so, you know, we all kind of saw what happened with Ghostbusters, you know, and I think, Jeff, you touched on it, you know, Wonder Woman may do well because of all this bullshit, but then again, it may not, because apparently, you know, Ghostbusters is in its own hole now.
Well, the money will determine its true success. The money is the ultimate factor, but the critical praise for Wonder Woman, I'm gonna bet Wonder Woman will sit at an 87% when it comes out next November? No.
Yeah, I think so.
No, Justice League's next November. Holy shit, Justice League's out in about a year. Wow.
So Wonder Woman's like May, isn't it?
Okay, when that comes out in May, Wonder Woman will get... did I say 87%? I'm sticking with it.
Mm.
And by the way, you mentioned... you called it Rogue Squadron. I'm going to tell you it's Rogue One. Before we get a ton of... No. I don't care. I'd rather see a Rogue Squadron movie, but I don't want you to get shit on by angry fans that
I don't give a shit about
that. Just to shit on us.
You can, I take the criticism and be like, oh shit, well, I was thinking of a much better property. My bad.
Dustin, what else you got, sir?
Well, speaking of Suicide Squad, despite lackluster performance reviews from audiences and critics for his performance as the Joker, Jared Leto has found himself another big film role. This time, the 30 Seconds to Mars frontman will be starring in Blade Runner 2 alongside returning Harrison Ford, Ryan Gosling, and Dave Bautista. The sequel takes place decades after the 1982 original, with director Ridley Scott serving as executive producer. The film opens in theaters October 6, 2017.
They got Batista? Cool.
Yeah.
Damn.
I'm not going to see this movie, but...
I'll probably go see it.
I said I like Ryan Gosling. He's a top 5 actor for me.
He's a very good actor. I'll give him that. I'm just surprised. Like, for as much as The Rock is an A-list celebrity, Batista has had a better string of movies. You got to remember, The Rock had The Scorpion King and Walking Tall, but then he had The Tooth Fairy and Be Cool and all these shit movies. And the fucking football one he was in?
Game Plan.
No, the other one. Yeah, that one too.
Game Plan.
Yeah, Game Plan.
He was his dad.
Yeah, Joe Kingsman, number 1 in the field, number 1 on your heart. Those were all shit movies. Those were all shit movies. Batista has been in Guardians of the Galaxy, James Bond, Guardians 2, now Blade Runner. Like, I can't think of many actors that are just... I can't think of any actors, like, save for Harrison Ford, that had a better run. I mean, Harrison Ford went from Star Wars to Apocalypse Now to Empire to Raiders of the Lost Ark to a bit part in E.T., back to Star Wars. You know what I'm saying? Like, they were all hit after hit after hit. This Batista's doing the same shit. I hope Batista has work forever because I think he's really good at what he does.
I bet he's being offered tons of roles, and he's sifting through and turning down the shit roles.
Yeah, he's got to have like a really fantastic manager.
Yeah.
To know what's going to help his career propel forward.
By the way, I wanted to correct myself. Wonder Woman comes out June 2nd, not May.
So we're less than a year away from Wonder Woman?
Yep.
Goddamn.
Well, I want to jump back to Ryan Gosling really quick.
Yeah.
I just read something that said that he was actually originally considered for Joker in Suicide Squad, and he turned it down. Good. I would have fucking loved to see him in that because he was awesome in Drive. And on Netflix, they have this film called All Good Things. Definitely watch that because he gets Joker-esque at the end. Very fucking sadistic and psychotic.
Mm. I'm a huge Ryan Gosling fan too, man. Especially because at first I gave him a lot of shit for The Notebook, but then, watching Drive and especially watching, was it Gangster Squad? Was a movie that I really liked him in. I mean, that scene where the kid gets shot and he almost kills Sean Penn damn near in the beginning of the movie. I was like, you know what, Gosling? I'm a fan. I'm a fan. You've done your job, sir.
He's come a long way from young Hercules.
No.
Yes.
Hercules.
God damn, that movie was good, by the way. The fucking Clumps, Nutty Professor, and all those movies, those were fun.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Eddie, what happened to you?
Jeff, do you like the Lost Boys movies?
I do. Well, I take it back. I like the first one. The sequel's complete and utter shit.
Okay, well, you're in luck because Lost Boys is coming to the CW for 7 seasons.
Wait, what? Already?
What?
They've confirmed 7 seasons?
Confirmed 7 seasons. The show will span a 70-year story starting in 1960s San Francisco and following the cast of Ageless Vampires as they do whatever the fuck vampires do. 7 seasons already.
Is this real?
CW
It's real.
CW
Oh,
is
it's damn real.
I don't see where they're gonna go with that.
The one problem is, every
God
7
damn.
seasons, these vampires are going to age visibly. So,
Are they gonna try and
what they're saying
do?
is each season's going to be a different decade with a different cast.
oh, okay.
Oh, okay, I was gonna say, are they gonna try and do like an interview with a vampire thing where they travel through time and show their life, or?
All I can tell you is that I'm not going to watch this because it's on the C-fucking-W.
Has there ever been a
Seriously.
good show to come from the CW?
No.
Now, Deanne,
to
you
come
watch
from it,
trash TV.
Well, Supernatural went to the CW, and then of course after it was on the CW, you can definitely tell it went in that teeny bopper route, and that it definitely suffered. It's not nearly as good as what it was in the first 5 seasons, but yeah, anything to come from the CW definitely. I mean, I know you love the OC. It's not the OC good, but it definitely isn't that. I fucking hate the CW, man. They ruin a lot of shit.
Okay, the OC was on Fox, retard.
I know, but it was a shit. I'm telling you, it was a shit show. I remember you having multiple boxes in your dorm room.
I
Okay.
forget about Dustin at that point in his life.
One, those boxes are panty droppers. Tell me
Okay.
one attractive girl who didn't like the OC.
Here we come.
Right, here I come up inside your vagina because I
I
got you.
won't lie, I watched the first season.
Dustin, you need to never show the OC to anyone else again because you'll have a second family. I don't know if you can afford that.
I don't like my first one, so.
Oh, okay. If you're gonna, just like trade up, that's fine. But I don't think you can afford it. It's like owning a second home in this economy. It's just not viable.
Yeah, true. So Gawker.com is officially shutting down next week.
Yes.
Gawker, of course, was the website that leaked Hulk Hogan's sex tape and was recently ordered to pay the ex-pro wrestler over $100 million in damages. Even though that decision's in the appeals process, the site is still going through bankruptcy and is being purchased and shut down by Univision. Univision is reportedly buying the site and its sister publications for $135 million. Gawker first hit the web in 2002 and has been the shithole of journalism ever since.
Hulk Hogan, you're the real American hero.
If we had the rights right now, I'd start playing Real American because I'm waving my arm in the sky. But you're right, Dustin. It is the shithole of journalism. Their fucking video game site, Kotaku, I can't even fucking go to it.
God.
It's just fucking
Yeah.
op-ed after op-ed of, like, fucking ham, beast, nectar, crazy women.
What about their fucking dyke site, Jezebel?
I have learned to never go there. Even with ad blocker, I don't want them to let them see that I clicked on their site.
True. I checked out Gawker today, and my God, they're just not any good.
I saw a website. I won't list it. I'll tell you off air because I don't want any of our listeners to even check it out and help these people. It is
Sure.
the worst website. I mean, it's not like torture porn or anything bad, but philosophically and ideologically, this is the worst website to ever exist.
Oh,
okay?
Huffington Post, I gotcha.
No. This is worse than Huffington Post. These people took down a review of Sausage Party because it wasn't reviewed by a lesbian, and they couldn't get the point of view of the lesbian taco character. So they apologized, and they released all this behind-the-scenes information. And they're just assholes. Fuck this website. I'll tell you all about it later. And that news came from Timothy Riggs, so thank you, Timothy.
My problem with lesbians is they never look like the ones in the pornos.
I know, Dustin. It'll be okay, my friend, because they're not getting fucked like the ones in the pornos either.
Thank God.
Have you noticed, though, that a lot of these angry, like, female activists, well, I don't know of many men activists, so I'll just, but these ladies are all crazy looking. Like, if you Google feminists that big red lady with the fucking triggered face pops up. Like, what? Why do these people look like idiots? Why can't they, I don't know, find some, like, happy medium?
So you've heard me talk about this before. My big problem with these really outspoken feminists who always claim that, men are just a bunch of rapists. I would never risk prison time on any feminist. None of them are attractive enough for me to put 10 years of my life to the side.
I respect your honesty above all else, and I believe what you're saying right now. Do you have any other news, Dustin?
That's all I got for the news.
All right. Well, that was a pretty good news session. I have learned a lot. Not really. So it's time now for the great pop culture debate. This one just came out of the fucking thin air. I thought it would be funny. It's good for a laugh. Who is the shittiest movie villain ever? Just tell me shitty villains, and we'll go from there. So who wants to go first?
Gilbert Gottfried.
What movie is he a villain in, Phil? You have to tell me the movie villain, not Gilbert Gottfried the actor.
I'm about to say, is he a villain in real life or something, Phil? Where are you going with that one?
I can't remember the movie. It's some kid's movie. There was a rock with a heart on it.
Problem Child 2. That movie
there
was
it is. I hated Gilbert Gottfried.
I always think of Gilbert Gottfried, Dion, and Beverly Hills Cop 2. It's like a James Bond thing. The best line of the whole movie where he picks up and goes, no, bitch! And hangs up the phone.
I love that part. It's fucking delicious.
It's hard to hate Gilbert Gottfried, but hey, that's okay if you do, Phil.
I love him in Aladdin. He's awesome as the fucking parrot.
Oh, Iago?
Mm-hmm.
I love Aladdin. That's my favorite Disney movie, maybe?
I like Gilbert Gottfried when you don't have to look at him.
Well, so does everyone else.
There's a reason he became a stand-up comic.
No,
he wasn't gonna be a fucking monk.
No, my real favorite, least favorite villain of all time.
Who's the shittiest movie villain of all time, Phil?
Great debate answer. Somebody else?
Well, Phil wins. I'm not even going to answer mine. Fuck it. Okay, well, since Phil cut out, I'll go. I picked Ivan Ooze from the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers movie. Now, let me give you a little bit of background. I was the biggest Power Ranger fan in the fucking universe. 1993, I remember vividly. I saw Power Rangers when it first aired on television. I was a fan instantly. I remember hunting for the fucking toys. Couldn't find them. Blah, blah, blah. Christmas 93 rolls around. Got them all. Played with them every day. Found out there's a Power Rangers movie coming out. Saw it, and I hated it. Didn't kill my interest in Power Rangers, but it was so different from the show, so dumb, so needlessly dark, that I did not connect with it like a lot of other kids do. So, one of the major problems, besides the terrible CGI and terrible story, is Ivan Ooze, the dumbest fucking movie villain ever. What's his plot? To use his ooze to mind control people to walk off a cliff. What does he do at the end of the movie? He puts his ooze into a giant robot who gets kicked in the nuts and sent into a meteor. That is a dumb fucking plot in a dumb fucking movie. Top a shittier villain than that.
Okay. You ever heard of this movie called Suicide Squad?
I wish I wouldn't have, but go ahead.
The fucking Enchantress. When you were describing his goal, sounded an awful lot like hers. She's going to mind and control people and then just get rid of all the humans because of some reason or another. She was a shitty CGI character. They have a real actress, but for some reason they have a different body with her face superimposed on it. She's dancing like she's on ecstasy. She'll cut between some gibberish and English. When she talks, it sounds the most forced, evil, sinister thing ever. She has a generic fucking plot. She's not even attractive. And she killed what could have been a good movie. I'm serious. I've watched a lot of superhero movies, as have you guys. I ran through my whole collection. I cannot think of one superhero movie that was less interesting, less nuanced, and less generic than her. I was thinking Jeff Bridges' character from Iron Man 1 just because he doesn't seem compelling or that memorable. But he did have some cool moments where he tricked Tony Stark and did some real bad guy shit. What did she do the whole time besides just dance like a millennial junkie? I don't understand it. I wasn't compelled for her character. I didn't want her to reunite with Rick Flag. I hope she fucking died at the end, and somehow she didn't. Like, what a fucking disappointment, because the intro of her was cool. That first transformation where the hand grabs her hand and then flips over, and awesome. And then from there, it was just fucking retarded. Disappointing.
Is it wrong that I kind of wanted to bang her? I'm just saying. Cara Delevingne's not beautiful, but I would definitely do her in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
I don't know,
think she's
man.
wrong. I mean, she's got a vagina. She's DTF, bro.
No, she's not. She's a lesbian and doesn't like dudes, so that kind of kills that fantasy. Dion, thank you for. You know what? Tell us what villain you have, Dion.
Well, for me, you know how much I love the movie Spawn, the movie that came out in 1997. Michael J. White is the titular character. For me, it was Malebolgia, who's supposed to be the demon lord of the 8th level of hell, and he was just this giant, shitty CGI thing. They at least got the look somewhat of what he looked like in the comic books, but he had this this generic voice where he talks like this. And I mean, they even couldn't get the mouth to open and close when he was supposed to be speaking. I mean, he just looks like fucking garbage. I mean, the hair looks like it was made in Microsoft Paint. He just does these like broad movements, kind of like the fucking aliens in that shitty Blue music video. And especially for me, I was like, he's supposed to be the fucking demon of hell, and he just, you're made of... I'm like, shut the fuck up. I don't care about you. Please stop it.
The fact this is one of your favorite movies makes me really impressed that you picked him.
I know, it's the one, like, especially I get into it and then they show and I'm just like, God damn it, here's this motherfucker again.
Can I say one thing though in defense of your character as opposed to mine?
Yes.
Your character does not appear for the first time on screen and ask about the Brady Bunch reunion. Ivan Ooze did that.
That's true. This is true.
Before we get into more details, Phil, who's your character? You kind of cut out.
Oh, my least favorite villain of all time, Kylo Ren. I mean, we've shit on Star Wars Episode 7 nonstop since it came out. He's one of the worst parts of it. He was terribly cast. He's a terrible character. He's a whiny little bitch. I don't need to say anything else. He's a whiny little fucking bitch, and nobody likes that.
You didn't connect with him on that level?
No.
To be fair, Phil does not have long dark hair.
True, that is the one.
Thank God, because that would be a weird silhouette, Phil. Just you, dark, strangely sweaty hair. Like, what is happening?
I was watching Cops. Yeah, Phil, for all the Star Wars villains, I don't think there's a shittier one than Kylo Ren.
No, he's a little fucking cunt. The only person that I hate in Star Wars more is Rey.
Jesus.
I'm on that train, but I also dislike Jar Jar Binks a lot. I also dislike Max from Episode 2, that guy that works in the diner.
Oh, the fat guy with the 4 arms?
Yeah, I'm not a fan. There's just so many bad Star Wars characters, but that's an episode for another time.
Well, thank God that guy was only in the movie for, 2 minutes?
But he still got his own action figure.
Really?
Oh my God, yeah. I think his name's like Dexter Jetster or something. I know somebody in the comments section is going to tell me all about it. But hey, that's what we want to hear at World Class Bullshitters. But Episode 2 has... I don't know. Episode 2 and Episode 7 have the worst original characters. Episode 2 does not offer much of anything.
I mean, outside of... Well, yeah, I guess Jango doesn't count as an original character.
Well, he is. He's original to Episode 2.
I mean, I guess. I mean, it's technically... Since he's Boba's original clone, I don't know. I mean, I guess you give him that. I'll give Episode 2 that.
He's shitty.
And they got Mace Windu.
Well, Mace Windu's from Episode 1, dude, so that doesn't count.
Oh, yeah, duh, yeah.
Just because his black ass doesn't leave the Jedi Temple doesn't mean he's not a character. He's just lazy.
No, he leaves. He's on the planet. He's on the boo at the end of the movie.
Oh, that's true. You true dog. You the real MVP. We don't talk about
the real MVP, Nick. Motherfucking Kylo Ren. I mean,
he's a great character. He's a great character.
You would think so. You have a lot of shitty tastes.
That came out of nowhere quick.
Now I understand where his comment earlier came from.
I've just never encountered a less likable character. I mean,
at least other than Finn?
he's a villain. He's not supposed to be likable.
Darth Vader's likable completely because you can sympathize with him, even from that first.
But not everyone's Darth Vader, and that's the point of Kylo Ren. Is he wants to be Darth Vader, but he's such an emotionally disturbed, whiny little bitch that he's not going to be Darth Vader.
And that's cool in concept, but the execution is piss poor. Adam Driver is not an excellent actor. Adam Driver is somebody young and unknown, and that's the trend they're trying to follow with Star Wars. But sometimes you got to bring somebody with some street cred to Star Wars that introduces a new character, and they didn't do it. Like, Billy D. Williams was an established actor prior to Star Wars. Lando fits in with the whole Star Wars crew perfectly.
Mm-hmm.
Kylo Ren is like, I've never seen a villain in a movie throw a hissy fit. Like, he destroys that fucking control panel thing. He's like, "Arr!" That's laughably bad. That's not like cool badass. Like, when Darth Vader was picking off his own commanders, that was cool because you're like, oh shit, this guy is like the evilest of the evil. And then when you meet the Emperor and Darth Vader kneels to that guy, you know that guy has secret powers that we're not shown yet. But Kylo Ren is like a pissed off teenager that broke his iPod because his mom and dad wouldn't, take him to the movie or something. It's that kind of shit that comes off.
That's how he's supposed to come off. He's supposed to come off as somebody who is really angsty and unstable, and I think he did a fantastic job at displaying that on film.
That's what you want your main villain to be. He's supposed to be one of the main villains carrying the second half of this franchise, and you want him to be
who's building a lightsaber and mind-altering abilities. Yeah, that's really interesting, actually.
No,
homicidal and suicidal are two different things. It's I don't want to see more of him. Darth Vader, you wanted to see more of him. Palpatine, you wanted to see more of him.
I do, and my kids love him.
What the fuck is Snoke? That's a retarded thing too.
He looks like a fucking slug in a robe.
I don't think Episode 7 has any good original characters. None of them.
Here's my thing, and here's my thought behind Kylo Ren. I feel like Disney. I feel like the writers wanted to go dark like Darth Vader. They wanted, Vader was fucking choking people out, and he would fucking kill people, not computers. I think Disney saw what the writers wanted to do probably in the beginning and was like, it's a little too dark for kids. Maybe he throws some temper tantrums and cuts some shit up with his lightsaber. How about that?
Or he slaughters people with his lightsaber, orders a whole village to get gunned down, and stabbed his dad in the heart.
So Vader did all that.
But you just said they tried to make it for kids, and I'm showing you examples of where that's not the case.
But he choked people.
Yep. How about stabbing your own dad through the heart?
Well, Vader did fuck with his own daughter and try to murder her, so that's equally bad.
Let's be fair. We didn't want Han Solo in that movie anyway.
Yeah. They should have just not done any of the Episode 7 or original trilogy characters. Be like, oh, back in the day, they defeated the Death Star and blah, blah, blah. And here's a new story.
First, Kylo Ren kills all three of the original characters. I hope each episode he kills. Next is Princess Leia, and then Luke.
There are so many action movies where they have the bad guy do bad things. That isn't the act of doing bad things. Yeah, I mean that's cause plot. That's the reason that they do. That doesn't make him a believable bad guy. That doesn't make you say, okay, I'm intimidated by this person. So yeah,
but not every bad guy needs to fit that trope where he's this stoic, imposing badass. You can have people that aren't like that still do bad things and be considered a villain.
But you're supposed
That's
to be
very true. There are different.
The Sith. That's what they do.
Right, but I'm saying even in terms of bad characters, there has to be something said for you have to be able to act it and it be believable and me want to see it. And I don't want to see a kid with a temper tantrum. If they had a more imposing guy play Kylo Ren that can make that come off as believable and intimidating, I don't believe that if Kylo Ren were to throw a tantrum that two armed soldiers would turn around and walk away. They'd say there's this fucking hissy fit kid playing with his dad's toy. It doesn't come off as imposing bad guy. It comes off as a character that should be in an episode of Veronica Mars.
I'm trying to explain to you that he isn't made to be imposing. He's made to be unstable. I don't know how you're not seeing that.
No, Dustin, he understands that. He understands that, but he's not entertaining to watch. No matter what the idea behind the character is, Dion understands what you're saying. He's not enjoyable to watch. He's so boring and shitty.
Yeah. He is enjoyable though. He is enjoyable.
And he is at some point supposed to be imposing. The beginning. That's why he wears a mask when we first see him.
Yeah, if they were really trying to make him this, like Darth Vader wanted me never take off your helmet, you know.
Right. He's supposed to be imposing. You're supposed to see this guy in a mask and a dark voice and say, wow, that dude is the next Darth Vader. And then, you know, he's whining. And
when he took off his mask, he lost a lot of credibility.
You can't cry that Episode 7's a rehash of 4 and then go, but I want Darth Vader again. You just can't do that. You can't have it both ways.
I didn't say I want Darth Vader. What I said was they tried to do that, and it didn't work.
No,
I'm not saying
for something.
No. Listen to what I'm saying. Listen to what I'm saying to you. What they tried to do, trying to make him Darth Vader, is the problem. So instead of coming up with a more imposing character to have the same effect as Darth Vader without being Darth Vader, that's what I'm saying. But instead they tried to copy Darth Vader. Hey, it's even his grandson.
Yeah, that's a little on the nose. Problem. And when he starts talking to his fucking helmet like it's Hamlet, that's stupid. And here's the thing. They start out with Kylo Ren being cool. Like, oh, he stops a laser blast. Okay. And then he says some shit. His voice modulator was stupid. Couldn't understand half the shit he said. He's like, blah, 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 blah. At least Darth Vader sounded cool. Kylo Ren sounded like he sounded broken. He sounded like he made that shit at Radio Shack. So then we get to the end, like the middle of the movie, and he has a temper tantrum. You're like, oh, okay. Like everything else is played so seriously in this movie. For as shitty as it is, everything else is played seriously. And then that happens, and you're like, what? It's so jarring and it's so different tonally. I mean, you have him who's emotionally unbalanced. You have Rey who has no emotions whatsoever. And then you have Finn and fucking Poe Dameron who are like best friends instantly. With the original Star Wars and any movie in general, these characters that don't know each other or even a defector, like in World War II, if someone defected from the Nazis, like when they took over those Nazi scientists, they didn't all of a sudden say, welcome to America, we're best friends, we're going to give you everything. No, there was some apprehension there. In Star Wars, it's like, oh my god, Poe Dameron, oh my god, Finn, we're best friends, here's my jacket, let's fly this TIE fighter, and then, oh my god, let's hug each other because we met for 5 minutes. All the characters in that movie, even Han Solo, Princess Leia, Luke Skywalker, were all fucking retarded. The only person they didn't fuck up was Chewbacca, because he doesn't have a goddamn line of dialogue, and he had genuine emotion. When Han Solo died, what did he do? He freaked the fuck out, just like on Empire Strikes Back, when they were freezing Han Solo in carbonite, and he fucking threw a temper tantrum, and choked Lando and did that shit. Chewbacca is the only real human character in Episode 7.
I mean, fuck... All right, how about this? You can't change the character. It's already made. In Episode 8, you have the opportunity to somewhat fix the character. Recast Kylo Ren.
I don't think you should recast him because they've never recasted a Star Wars character.
Well, if you could.
I would have him get... Here's the problem. In Episode 1, you're introduced to Darth Maul. Darth Maul is barely in the movie, but he's kind of cool. He dies instantly. We have to sit through Kylo Ren for the next 4 to 5 years. I wanted to live through Darth Maul. Darth Maul would have been an awesome villain. Like, he could have killed Qui-Gon. He could have killed somebody in Episode 2, and then Anakin finally defeats him in Episode 3. Then you could have had, like, this big build for a new character. In this movie, you have Rey beat Kylo Ren, and he was shot in the stomach. He stopped laser blasts earlier. Like, why the fuck is he doing that now? Oh, because the plot calls for him to be injured, so we can put him literally on a lower level, so this new character that doesn't know anything about lightsaber dueling can defeat him and complete a character arc in 1 movie instead of 3.
Yeah, my whole thing. My whole thing isn't all that. Like I said, it's. If you want a bad guy to have an impact, he has to be believable. You brought up the Nazi thing earlier. That's a good example. There have been countless, not movies with Nazis in them, but it's like Schindler's List. Fucking Ray Fiennes is a phenomenal bad guy in that movie. He's a Nazi. He didn't lean on the fact that, hey, I'm a Nazi is why I'm bad. He portrayed this fucking crazy person who happened to have on a uniform that had a fucking swastika on the side. There has to be accountability in terms of finding people who are believable in their character, and that's my issue with Kylo Ren. Is I don't believe that dude is a bad guy. I just don't.
Yeah, I think the First Order or whatever they are, the Empire 2.0, would have ditched his ass. What good does he do them? Darth Vader does shit and has shit to do outside of like wanting to rehash. You're a military operation. You have to serve the greater good. What does he serve?
He does. to be honest, within the First Order, I don't really understand his place. Because he's not a leader of the First Order, and that's been made clear by the people who talk back to him, and he's clearly there for Snoke. So why is he associated with the First Order?
I don't even know how. Snoke is the supreme leader of the First Order. General Hux reports to him, as does Kylo Ren.
I just wonder how the First Order came to power. It's literally the Empire again. It's just like, oh. Anyway, this isn't a Star Wars Episode 7 review. If you want to hear that, listen to every episode of World Class Bullshitters. We all go into it, especially the fucking review that came out minutes after we saw the fucking thing. So, it's... I don't know. Rogue One looks cool, but fuck Episode 7. If Episode 7... or Rogue One was more of Episode 7's bullshit, I wouldn't even be interested to pay to see it. I would see it for free, and then we would review it. But let the... listeners, we have presented you 4 villains: Enchantress, Ivan Ooze, Malboja, and Kylo Ren. We all have differing opinions. Mine references the Brady Bunch and might be legally retarded and spits into people's mouths. Kylo Ren bitches and throws a temper tantrum. The Enchantress isn't even a real person and has giant eyebrows. That's a crime in some countries. And then you have Malboja, who is a CGI mess, voiced by Frank Welker. And the whole movie of Spawn has terrible CGI. This is just the fucking turd on the shit Sunday. I don't know what else to say. Have I summed up everyone's villains pretty well?
Mine's a lesbian.
That's the true crime in America, goddammit.
She's a lesbian having sex with her ancient brother.
Oh.
Wait, incestuous lesbians?
Sure.
So we can cancel out and make a positive.
I can get behind that one.
So can Dustin.
All right, well, that was the great pop culture debate. Comment in the comments below and let us know who won the debate. Your thoughts on Kylo Ren, your thoughts on Ivan Ooze, Malboja, and the Enchantress. I'm sure I'll be called assholes for not understanding Suicide Squad's genius, but whatever. And now it's time for the main feature. So tonight's main feature comes by way of Dustin. It is titled, What Would a Rim Job from Wonder Woman Be Like? No,
like a handy from Dion?
So forceful and not fun?
You would know.
Hey, he's going to be staying at your house this weekend. You could get one.
He's staying at my house this weekend?
Yeah.
Nobody told me that.
You told him that.
I told him for the housewarming party. To be discussed at a later time.
I went to say, he was coming for the fire truck pull, but hey. Okay, anyway. So 2016 is a year of pop culture that will not be remembered fondly, or hell, it may not even be remembered at all. With only a few bright spots, the films of 2016 were average at best. One brand in particular got butt-fucked. Ghostbusters? No. The SJW media was there to protect that turd, though the people didn't flock to see it. What I'm talking about is the DCEU. While it made money to a degree, many, including myself, would consider it a disappointment. We live in a world where Ant-Man stars in the film, but Superman can't be done properly. It's a great time to be a comic book fan, but it's a hard time to be a DC fan. So this episode isn't about more DC bashing. It's about fun. It's about creating a movie that we will never get to see, but we'll line it for the moment it exists. Marvel versus DC. So everyone has their own pitch. We're going to present them to you and make sure you let us know which pitch you like the best down in the comments. The winner gets to gloat.
And if you guys have your own story idea, make sure to leave that in the comments as well, and we'll pick some good ones next week.
Oh yeah, we will read those on air. Who would like to go first tonight?
I'll go first since I threw out the idea.
Okay, Dustin.
Mine's not really a versus, more of like you'll see. Anyway, so mine takes place after Infinity War Part 1. And so my idea of how Infinity War ends is Thanos, he's got the gauntlet, he's about to have complete omniscience and omnipotence, and he's smoked most of the Avengers. So mine kicks off with, it's only Captain America remains alive. We see shots of the other Avengers and Guardians strewn about lifeless. The Cap is struggling to get to his feet as Thanos menacingly marches towards Vision's limp body. We see the Infinity Gauntlet is just one stone away from completion, meaning Thanos is just one step away from universal domination. Thanos now stands before Vision and, raising his hand that dons the gauntlet, begins drawing the Mind Stone from Vision. Just as the gem is about to break out, Captain America sucker punches Thanos. It's only mildly irritating to the celestial tyrant, who merely grabs Cap, without taking his eyes off of Vision and the Mind Stone, and begins squeezing what little life the super soldier has left out of his broken, exhausted body. Cap screams as the gem finally breaks through Vision's skull and flies toward the gauntlet. But then, right before the gauntlet is completed, a flash of brilliant light. The gem is gone. Confused, Thanos gives Cap a final squeeze before dropping him. He starts looking around in all directions, when again the light appears to his left, then to his right, then directly in front of him. Suddenly, Thanos is struck in the face and is hurled backward. As he hits the ground, we see that his hand is naked. The gauntlet is gone. The Flash that we saw, it was the Flash, and using the Speed Force, he traveled through time, through dimensions, to get here before Thanos could complete the gauntlet. As it turns out, in Flash's original timeline and universe, Thanos does complete his quest in the Marvel Universe and, wielding the completed Infinity Six, destroys not only that universe, but the DC Universe as well. So right before he was about to die, the Flash started running as fast as he could, as hard as he could, until he arrived at the source of the destruction. In fact, he's been running so long that he doesn't remember how long he's been running. Finding the right universe, much less the exact time in that universe, has been hell, but he finally got it right. Anyway, as Thanos rises to his feet, Flash inserts the final gem into the gauntlet. His body instantly writhes in unimaginable pain as he points his hand at Thanos, who for the first time ever looks terrified. With conviction in his eyes, the Flash thrusts his fist forward and Thanos is no more. Flash collapses and struggles to take the gauntlet off before it's too late. And then we see another set of hands enter the frame. They're Cap's, and he helps save this mysterious stranger's life before the gauntlet, by removing the gauntlet just in the nick of time. So while Cap checks on Flash, Bruce Banner, whom we thought died while in Hulk form, picks up the gauntlet. When Cap sees Banner holding the gauntlet, he says, "You know what we need to do with it." "I do," Banner responds, just before transforming back into Loki. Loki howls a sadistic laugh as he slides the gauntlet on. Finally, he yells, with a most euphoric look on his face. When he's done reveling at his newfound power, he walks toward Cap and Flash, and without any sincerity, apologizes for what he's about to do. But then another Flash consumes the screen. This time it's not Barry Allen, it's Darkseid. Using the powers of the three Mother Boxes, he too has traversed time, space, and dimensions to arrive here at this moment, and he's brought his army with him. Loki smugly asked, "And who might you be?" Darkseid's response is quick, a straight-through-the-heart laser beam shot out of one of the boxes. Loki crumbles, and the gauntlet rolls onto the wasteland ground. Cut to the film's title card. As we come back to the footage, we see Darkseid smiling as he stands over the gauntlet. He reaches down to grab it when the Flash, spending what little energy he has left, snatches the gauntlet and runs off as far away as he can. While Darkseid becomes enraged and commands his army to spread across the globe, Cap looks over his fallen comrades, heartbroken that they're dead. He couldn't do anything to save them. So eventually, the Justice League, using Green Lantern's technology, comes to this universe. Since Thanos was stopped in theirs, they're still alive. Batman traces Flash's energy signature, and that's how they end up here. When they arrive at Earth, they encounter some of Darkseid's higher-ups in battle. They come across Cap, and he tells them what happened. They all go up for Flash, find him. Superman eventually uses the gauntlet to resurrect the Avengers. The team struggles with whether or not to destroy the gauntlet for fear that it's too powerful and destructive, regardless of whose hands it's in. Superman wants to destroy it, Batman doesn't. Cap wants to destroy it, Iron Man doesn't, blah, blah, blah. While they end fight, Darkseid arrives, and again, using the Mother Boxes, immobilizes Superman, who is holding onto the gauntlet. Big battle, cool teamwork, lots of close calls. Eventually, right before Darkseid is able to use the gauntlet, the team does a Uni-Hyper-Gipper Bomb, which of course is a combination of all their powers, and they destroy him and the gauntlet. Everyone rejoices, and the heroes part ways, thanking each other. The end. Then we get a post-credit scene. Superman and Cap are talking over the grill. They're cooking Howard the Duck. Bruce Wayne and Tony Stark play heads-up poker. Black Widow flirts with Hal Jordan because she's a slut, and the Hulk uses the lasso of truth around Wonder Woman's neck to pull her back and forth as he fucks her from behind while she sucks on Thor's hammer.
I'd watch that.
That got really dark.
It got really fun.
Yeah.
No, that one took a twist. What a twist!
Wonder Woman could take a pounding from the Hulk.
And that's what I figured. I mean, she wouldn't die from it, so it would be at least, for most people.
I would pay for a movie to watch, or I'd pay to watch a movie where the Hulk goes to bang someone and just accidentally rips him in half. Like, ooh, sorry.
Oh God!
Like a phone book.
Yeah.
I just picture like the Hulk doing doggy style on anyone is like holding a cat by the back of its neck and fucking it. Like size differential.
Well, there's those stories about Andre the Giant fucking women. They say it's like somebody just like grabbing a rabbit. How well they look compared to him.
Anybody want a nut?
He will.
So anyway, that was mine. Yeah.
Phil, you said you wanted to go.
Yeah, I couldn't decide on where I wanted to go, so I just picked one and went with it. This movie takes place after the events of New York. Tony Stark works day and night to replicate the power of the Tesseract and its unlimited power source to remain the only controlling market for unlimited, clean, sustainable energy on Earth, trying to keep the government's hands out of it. During his experiments, and while severely modifying his design of the arc reactor, Tony unknowingly opens a portal to an alternate universe. Tony's design is dangerous and unstable and could cause nuclear devastation. So limited by today's technology, Tony decides to shut down the device before doing major damage to the Earth. In an alternate universe, Superman has finished taking over the Earth and enslaving its people. Yes, Superman has turned on the human race, just like the government feared. He continues to hunt down the remaining members of the Justice League, as well as the rest of the surviving metahumans. With Batman reportedly dead and Wayne Tech at his disposal, Superman detects the presence of this portal and decides to turn his attention to conquering yet another world. He finds the location and waits eagerly for it to open once more. Meanwhile, in the MCU, Tony's experiments continue. Finally believing that he's made a breakthrough, Tony once again decides to test the device. The portal opens, and immediately Superman makes his presence known by attacking Stark. Not being able to don the Iron Man suit, and clearly being no match for Superman on his own, Tony is brought to the brink of death. As Superman is about to deliver the final blow, huge cracks of thunder and lightning. That's right, Thor, the god from Asgard, has arrived. The hammer strikes Superman and deals a surprising blow. Superman fires back at the Norse god, while the Man of Steel struggles to pick up the hammer. More lightning, then several fast, surprising, devastating blows. The Flash. But he's quickly dealt with. Superman swats him like a fly. Then a huge green glowing cage. Could it be? Yes. The Green Lantern, John Stewart, not Hal Jordan. As Superman destroys the artificial cage, his eyes glow red. Just as his aim for the Green Lantern is about to strike, Captain America uses his shield to deflect it back at Superman. Dazed, Superman is hit by another fast-moving force of nature. Slammed through the wall, the Hulk. An exchange back and forth between the Hulk while the others recover. Eventually, the Hulk is thrown aside. Superman stands as the camera pans around, revealing the heroes gathering from both universes. As more heroes from the DCU come through the portal, Wonder Woman, Cyborg, Aquaman, Hawkeye, and the Vision come through the front door, as well as the Winter Soldier. Through the portal, then steps Batman. The title. I don't have a title for it.
That was anticlimactic.
Cutting back to Superman in the lab, Superman smirks and realizes the portal is what's bringing all of these people in. He destroys it immediately. That's kind of where I stopped. The rest of the plot centers around Superman making his devastating presence known on Earth. The two sets of heroes need to come together to reopen the portal. Eventually, when they do get the portal up and working again, they find other universes with multiple sets of these characters and heroes, so they're able to bring in multiple Flashes, multiple Batman, so on and so forth.
Is that what you got?
Yeah, that's kind of where I got.
Cool. Well, those are both unique. They're not the same. I mean, they obviously have the same characters, but I was worried we were all going to have the same plot.
I didn't have as much time to work on it as I wanted.
It was still good. I mean, the Rogue Superman thing's completely different than I thought. I mean, my Superman, you'll hear it later, but what'd you guys think of it?
No, I liked it. I mean, It's just kind of funny because mine is kind of similar in terms of the beginning, but
Well,
no, man, like I said, like I said, it's along the same lines as how I was going. So I did enjoy the multiple flashes and Batmans, though, kind of seem kind of confusing, but no, man, I like how it started for sure.
well, since yours is close to it, let's hear yours.
Okay, well, I tried to stick closer to obviously the Marvel Cinematic Universe and what we have so far from DC's Cinematic Universe. So I don't obviously there's for me there's no Green Lantern. The different characters aren't in this movie. But for me, my title was Marvel vs. DC Total War. And it was interesting that you brought it up earlier, Jeff, when you were talking about, or Dustin and Jeff, and you guys were talking about how DC is kind of fucked, and especially with Zack Ryder and this dark
Zack Ryder
or Zack Ryder, woo, you know it, Zack Snyder, in this dark direction that they're going. So I was thinking, ride the wave. If you want to make DC dark, this is where they would go all in, and thus what I came up with. So DC continues on its dark path. The Justice League learns that after their fight with Darkseid that they can't protect the planet while being kind and just. They decide that they have to take control and rule it. Superman, during the Justice League movie in which they would be fighting Darkseid, returns from death in his black Superman suit. And then as in his killing of Zod, obviously, the movie goes on there fighting Darkseid, what have you. And just like in his killing of Zod, Superman kills Darkseid with the permission of Wonder Woman and Batman. While doing this, there's some sort of scene where they're recalling back to, when Batman drops the line of where, I'm tired. We're just tired of freaks dressing up like clowns. So after defeating Darkseid, they, in turn, stop him from using the anti-life equation. In his attempt to use it, the anti-life equation opens up a portal, at first unbeknownst to the Justice League, that leads to another universe, our universe. In the meantime, Justice League decides to rule this Earth. At first, one of my little notes was I didn't have a location of where this portal was in relative to either worlds, but that's something that could be fleshed out later. In their defeat of Darkseid's forces, they integrate apocalyptic and Kryptonian technology. This would explain how they were able to create spacecraft, advanced weaponry, and more importantly, the use of Darkseid's boom tubes. After defeating Darkseid, and boom tubes, for those who don't know, that's what they were. The portals that Darkseid would open up to travel from Apocalypse to Earth. The Justice League then goes on to kill Amanda Waller, subjugate different governments around the planet, and creates alliances with members of the Suicide Squad, Lex Luthor, and other villains that they brought up in the movies that we've seen as far as with DC. In the meantime, as part of this integration of new technology, Lex Luthor creates his super suit. While at the same time, this is when Infinity Wars is going on. Mine, again, it's kind of dependent on what happens in Infinity Wars, but my overall gist was that the Earth is in devastation after the Avengers fight with Thanos. The Avengers have suffered in their fight with the Infinity Gauntlet. Mainly one of them being that Vision is severely damaged and injured since he did have an Infinity Stone in his head. In this universe, obviously, Defenders have already come out. Doctor Strange has taken his post at the the Sanctum Sanctorum, and the Guardians were around in defeating Thanos' forces. Anyway, Infinity Wars ends. The Earth is devastated, and in the aftermath, this is the end of Infinity Wars. Again, I'm assuming this is what depending on what the movie how it would end. The Avengers leave a skeleton crew at the Avengers HQ, consisting of Falcon, Vision, in his weakened form, Scarlet Witch, Black Widow, Winter Soldier, and I already said Falcon and Falcon. While Hulk, Captain America, Thor, who's cut off from Asgard due to the events with the Infinity Gauntlet, Black Panther, and Iron Man go around different corners of the Earth to aid in the rebuilding after their fight with the Infinity Gauntlet. At the end of Infinity Gauntlet, there's a pan out. You see the portal above the planet, and inside this portal, you see the completion of the Watchtower, the Justice League Watchtower. Then we come to DC versus Marvel Total War. For the time difference to kind of explain why they're so much more advanced. On the DC side, it's been about 5 to 8 years since they defeated Darkseid. They've, at the behest of the Justice League, created new technology, created spaceships, created new weaponry. While on our side, the portal opens up very soon after their fight with Thanos. The trailers for the movie would consist of they'd actually be good trailers for DC trailers. One quote I had was, "We've been watching you. You can't protect yourselves forever. We've seen how close you come to oblivion. You need us." Then I kind of skipped over to the beginning of the movie, blah, 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 blah. They're rebuilding. And then eventually the invasion begins with, they see an energy signal above the Earth. It's ships coming out above the Earth. There are boom tubes opening in New York and Washington, D.C. In an attempt to distract and divide the Avengers, Superman sends different groups of heroes and villains to attack Earth's greatest defenders. Doomsday attacks the Hulk in one location, wherever the hell he and Banner are at, assisting in rebuilding. The Defenders are first attacked by this new and improved version of the Suicide Squad. The skeleton crew of Avengers that were at Avengers Tower watching over the Earth are attacked by a team headed by Deathstroke. Even though I slipped him in there, he wasn't in any of the movies yet. I don't know, he probably won't be, but I slipped him in there just cause plot. And blah, 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 kind of skipping over this other bullshit. One of the boom tubes open in Washington, where Wonder Woman comes out, Aquaman comes out, and gets in a fight with Thor. They fight. Essentially, it's a bunch of paired fights between different heroes on both teams. Anyway, Superman finally makes his presence known in New York, defeats the Defenders, and in their fight to try and stop Superman, the first movie would end with the Avengers eventually evacuating certain key locations while the Justice League has begun their invasion of Earth. And that hopefully would go on to a second movie. But my first movie would be with the Avengers initially losing to the Justice League in the first part of this invasion.
Well, that's a darker twist than I saw coming, man.
I liked it. I like the darker twist to it.
Oh, I didn't dislike it at all. I was just saying that's a darker twist than I thought. Normally, when I think of Dion and his movie choices, they're usually pretty bright and optimistic.
Right. Well, and again, it was just the first one. I was, depending on how it was received, the second one would obviously be with the Justice League the Avengers rebanding, coming together, and able to defeat, in the end, Superman and the Justice League and send them back. The main plot point was that Doctor Strange would be preoccupied with closing the original portal. Once that portal is closed, that would force all the other boom tubes to close, and then that would force the Justice League back. I didn't get that far into making it make sense in my plot, but work in progress.
Well, I liked it, and I'd watch that movie.
Nice.
Does anyone have anything else they'd like to say about Dion before I close it out?
Does your end credit scene have anything to do with a superhero orgy?
It could be. I haven't ruled it out, but once the money rolls in with the first movie's success, we can talk about orgies at the end. Might even have a bearded Captain America. Who knows?
Well, no one's gonna watch the first one without that orgy scene, so good luck.
Yeah. I even agree. Right now, Dustin's wins.
You got to give the people what they want: hardcore penetration.
Yeah, like Sausage Party did.
I'm an artiste.
All right. Well, rim jobs for everybody. Okay, so mine's a little long, but I will read through it, and I'll try not to stop. But if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask.
Here we go.
All right, my film opens in the not-too-distant future. We see a close-up of a damaged Darkseid sitting in his glorious throne room on Apokolips. As we zoom out, we see the dead body of Granny Goodness. The camera pulls out further. Calabac, Steppenwolf, Glorious Godfrey, all dead. The camera zooms out even further, revealing the entirety of Darkseid's elite, all dead. And finally, one more zoom, and we see the bodies of hundreds of dead parademons. Darkseid surveys the dead in his throne room. He rises from his throne and heads towards the exit. As he leaves his palace, he looks over his shoulder, taking one last glance at the carnage. He does not mourn the dead. No, they were expendable. He only laments his defeat at the hands of the Justice League. Darkseid walks the barren wastelands of Apokolips for days. We finally see him arrive at a sacred place, an ancient temple. Inside, he finds the final Mother Box on Apokolips. This Mother Box is used to travel through time and space through the Boom Tube. Darkseid plans to invade the Earth before the Justice League is formed to destroy it with no resistance. He sets the coordinates and disappears from Apokolips. Time and space are ripped apart as Darkseid travels to Earth. But at that exact moment, another tear in the fabric of space-time is opened up and throws Darkseid off course. Where does it take him? It takes him to Earth. But not his Earth, another Earth. At the exact moment Darkseid appears, he finds Earth being invaded by the Chitauri army. As he descends to Earth, he finds Earth's mightiest heroes defending from an alien invasion. He is perplexed by these superheroes because he has never encountered them before. He watches as they defeat giant creatures and dozens of foot soldiers. They may not be Superman, but in his weakened state, he will not chance a battle with them and retreats to space. He traverses the universe. He realizes how different this one is compared to his own. He scours each galaxy looking for a power source great enough to rejuvenate him, as well as defeat the new protectors of Earth. His search leads him to the Infinity Gauntlet. Darkseid attempts to take it as his own, but is confronted by Nebula, daughter of Thanos. Darkseid tells Nebula he is drawn to an incredible power source, and he tends to take it. A short battle ensues, and just as Darkseid is about to destroy Nebula, Thanos steps in. The two beings of immense power stare each other down. Darkseid's eyes glow red. Thanos grits his teeth. Then suddenly, a scowl turns into a smile, and then laughter. Darkseid does not back down. What about this is humorous? You do not know who I am? I am the Almighty. I am the beginning and the end. I am Thanos. Darkseid responds, I am Lord Darkseid, ruler of Apokolips, master of the universe. Apokolips? What tiny fragment of the galaxy bears that name? I have never heard of it. Darkseid. It sits adjacent to New Genesis, the home of my mortal enemies. Apokolips? New Genesis? All these words have no meaning to me, infidel. Give me the source of the power and I'll be on my way home. Source of power? Darkseid nods forward. He's looking at the Infinity Gauntlet, though it does not contain all of the gems. That is a source of power you cannot comprehend nor wield. The wearer must possess a level of strength greater than that can be found in the universe, my delusional traveler. Darkseid looks at Thanos, eyes still glowing. Allow me to prove my power. If I am unworthy, this great power will surely destroy me, saving you the trouble. Thanos smiles. Very well, traveler, proceed. But when you vanish into the great beyond, know that it was by your own hand. Darkseid puts on the gauntlet. His body begins to glow. His fiery eyes red intensify. The ground itself begins to shake. Thanos is not amused. Impressive, traveler. You can handle the gauntlet when it's not at its most powerful, a trick even Nebula could achieve. But your weak body could crumble once all the gems are assembled. The gems? Darkseid's thirst for knowledge grows as fast as his thirst for power. He has never felt this before. Now he knows that more is possible, and he must have it. The gems do not concern you, traveler. Once I have obtained them from Earth, the universe will be mine. The moment Thanos finishes speaking, Darkseid's eyes glow red and blasts Thanos with his Omega beams. Thanos vanishes instantly. Nebula looks on in anger. What of you? She is blasted into oblivion as well. Darkseid knows that this is the ultimate power in the universe, and once all the gems are assembled, he can use it to return to his universe and defeat the Justice League. Back on Earth, we see Captain America's secret Avengers returning from a mission. The rift from Civil War is still there. They live in Wakanda now. It is a beautiful land that they all greatly enjoy, but some of them, especially Ant-Man, wish to return to the real world because they have families and lives outside of the team. Flash forward to New York, we see Tony Stark's team at the Avengers Mansion. Rhodey has regained the ability to walk, thanks to Tony's technology, but we can see he's a changed man. The morale of the team is very low overall. They seem to operate effectively, but the camaraderie that was there is gone. We see Tony Stark being interviewed live for some celebrity lifestyle show. They ask him a couple questions on the lives of the Avengers, etc., but he lies through his teeth, playing it up as if the life is a party all the time. During the interview, a boom tube opens over New York City. People begin to panic. Suddenly the sky darkens and everything goes silent. Darkseid appears. He floats above everyone, surveying the new land to conquer. Tony catches him on one of the monitors and begins to run off. The talk show host urges him to stay and wait. He runs out of the building and gets into his suit. His suit is a stripped-down version of his normal armor because that is one of the government regulations he agreed to in Civil War. Iron Man is first on the scene to fight Darkseid. You know, the last time a giant hole in the sky opened up and someone stepped out, me and my friends kicked their asses right back in. Darkseid looks at Iron Man and continues to float through the sky. Iron Man keeps trying to talk to him, but Darkseid doesn't even acknowledge he exists. Iron Man hates being ignored, so he attempts to punch through Darkseid's force field. He is knocked back. He attempts it again. This time he is knocked back even harder. He attempts a third time, and Darkseid swats him out of the sky. He comes crashing down to Earth. He realizes that he's overpowered, so he calls in the rest of his team. He flies up again, and this time attempts to talk to Darkseid. Darkseid ignores him. The rest of Tony's Avengers team appears. War Machine takes the same approach as Iron Man. Same results. The Vision appears. He uses the beam in his head to attack Darkseid. Darkseid lifts the Infinity Gauntlet to deflect the blast. There's a huge shockwave that knocks out the power to New York City. Cut to Midtown High School where Peter Parker's in study hall. The power of his school goes out. Then suddenly the ground trembles. His spider sense goes off. He knows something is wrong, so he slips out of class and into a Spidey suit. Back at the battle, Iron Man, War Machine, and Vision attack Darkseid simultaneously. Nothing happens. Spider-Man swings in and lands on a nearby building. He looks at the battle from below. Iron Man is knocked out of the sky. Spidey swings through the air to catch Tony. He makes some kind of quip about being the tardy one. Back at Wakanda, we see Cap and his Secret Avengers watching the events unfold on TV. They decide it's time to come out of hiding and help Tony. The Secret Avengers arrive and join in the fight. They're equally ineffective. As the Vision approaches Darkseid again, the gauntlet appears to vibrate. It is drawn to the gem on his head. Darkseid plucks the Vision out of the air by his neck and begins to attempt to remove the gem. His fingers dig into the Vision's head. He's about to remove the gem when suddenly a huge bolt of lightning erupts in the sky. Thor appears. He urges them to get the Vision out of there. It's the gem he's after. He wields the Infinity Gauntlet. Thor tosses Mjolnir at Darkseid, but it has no effect. He dives towards him and lashes out violently with his hammer. Blow after blow, nothing works. Darkseid swats Thor out of the sky as well. Most of Cap's team watches from the ground as they try and come up with the game plan. Spider-Man swings down to the street to try to mend the bond broken in Germany. Cap says no hard feelings. In the sky, Darkseid is tired of dealing with the Vision, so he rips off his head. The Vision's body falls to the ground. Darkseid takes the gem and inserts it into the gauntlet. His eyes burst with power. He looks at the portion of the team on the ground. You will now know the full power of Darkseid. Your world is mine. With that, Darkseid blasts Spider-Man, Thor, Captain America, Iron Man, and Hawkeye with his now amplified Omega beams. Scarlet Witch, Falcon, Black Panther, and the others look on in horror. Black Widow calls a tactical retreat. Darkseid thinks it's beneath him to chase them. He is here to conquer the Earth. Black Widow takes control of the team and decides that their only way to defeat him is to find Bruce Banner. Fade to black. The camera fades in with Spider-Man and the rest of the Avengers that were hit with Darkseid's Omega beams waking up. They look at each other, surprised that they're not dead. When they look around, they realize they're not in New York anymore. They're in a city, but they don't know what city they are. Citizens rally around them. They've never seen heroes of this kind. Thor begins to ask where they are. The stunned crowd doesn't answer. He grows angry, having to ask repeatedly. I am a god. Answer me when I speak to you. Suddenly, from the sky, a voice appears. You're in my town, Metropolis. The Avengers look up, and Superman is hovering above them. Metropolis? Asks Iron Man. What country are we in? America, answers Superman. Friday, give me a scan of all American cities called Metropolis. Friday. Iron Man's AI does not respond. His suit has power, but it cannot connect to any networks. There's a Metropolis in Illinois, says Captain America. Are you sure? Asks Spider-Man. I'm Captain America. Spider-Man shuts up. Superman descends towards the street. How about telling me what you guys are up to? Looks like you're armed to the teeth. And what do you do? He says, looking at Hawkeye. I shoot arrows. That's it? Well, yeah. We have a guy like that too. We do not have time to talk, Thor yells. A creature called Darkseid is destroying our world and we must get back to New... Darkseid, Superman exclaims. Darkseid and his army was defeated and left to rot on Apocalypse. The Justice League and I stopped them. I don't know how he... Whatever the case may be, Darkseid is on Earth and he wields the greatest power in the universe, the Infinity Gauntlet, says Thor. A moment of tension passes. Superman has never encountered these heroes before. He scans their hearts to see if they're lying. They're telling the truth. If it's Darkseid you say, then your world is in danger. I have friends who can help. Can any of you fly? Thor raises his arm. I'll call in the Javelin. The Avengers are flown into space. Spider-Man starts humming the Star Trek theme. Space. The final frontier. No one joins in. The Javelin approaches the Watchtower. Iron Man thinks to himself, a base that orbits the Earth. It's not a bad idea. The ship docks and Superman leads them to the observation room. Inside are Batman, Wonder Woman, the Flash, Green Lantern, and Martian Manhunter. Who are these guys? Asks the Flash. Thor steps up. I am Thor, son of Odin. This is Captain America, Clint Barton, and Iron Man. This is also a boy in pajamas. I'm Spider-Man, he says. I fight crime all over Manhattan. How have you never heard of me? Thor responds, I am Thor, protector of the 9 realms, defender of Earth. I fought the Chitauri and... I get it, you're busy, says Spider-Man. Captain America steps up. We're here because we need your help. A being called Darkseid has invaded our planet. We attempted to fight him off, but somehow we were sent here. The only problem is we don't know where here is. That's Earth out there, but it's not our Earth. Batman steps in. From our prior experiences, we've learned that there's multiple Earths from different dimensions. We've encountered other Supermen, Wonder Woman, Women, and Batman, but never anything like you. How do we know this isn't a trap? I've checked them, says Superman. They're telling the truth. Batman scowls. Wonder Woman walks up to Thor. Thor, like the ancient Norse myth? Norse myth? I am no myth. I am no myth, woman. Okay, so this is where I ran out of time, so here's the end of it real quick. Back to the MCU, the rest of the Avengers find Bruce Banner and get him to join the team. They get back to New York, and they fight Darkseid, who was able to resurrect his elite, and they begin to wreak havoc on the Earth. The Avengers and the Justice League are able to trace back Darkseid through his energy signature, so they go back to the MCU universe through a different mother box. Instead of a big army, it's Darkseid's elite, which is 8 people, versus all the Avengers and Justice League, and there's a huge battle all over the world, not just New York City. The battle ends with Superman and the rest of the Justice League returning to their universe. Tony and Cap have mended their ties, and it all ends well. I didn't come up with an end credit sequence, but it could be Thor fucking Wonder Woman. I don't give a shit. Something. You want an orgy? You got
the hammer. With the hammer.
No, he's in her, and then the hammer's in her butthole. How's that? Because her asshole's worthy to wield Mjolnir. How's that?
Better.
All right, cool. Yeah, so that was mine. I was really Darkseid heavy, but whatever. I needed to set it up.
That was good.
Thanks.
I liked it, man. I like how in depth you were even with the jokes. That's what I liked.
Well, I was right, and I was thinking to myself, if this was real, this isn't going to be a real Dower movie, because Disney has a bigger dick than Warner Brothers, so you know they're going to have more to say.
I like it. But
that was the main topic for this week's show. We've each pitched to you a Marvel versus DC, or Marvel and DC film. They are all 4 were different. They had a little bit similar or in common, but whatever. It was different enough. So in the comments below, tell us what you thought, who you thought gave the best presentation, and next week we will read the results as well as your pitches to us on air. So does anyone else add? Does anyone have anything else they'd like to add before we get into some fan mail?
No, not yet. I'm sure someone will pop in my brain. I'll just shout it out like a fucking crazy person.
All right, cool. We wouldn't be friends if you didn't.
Good point.
So our first video with that we uploaded since you've last seen us was the Rogue One trailer review. We got 179 comments on it, so that's quite a bit. A lot of positive responses. This comes from Unreal Turbos. The trailer made me more optimistic about the new Star Wars, but hey, so did the trailers for Episode 7. I don't know about this one. That's a pretty fair, assessment.
Mm-hmm.
James Earl Jones is the voice of Darth Vader, so yeah, that's... Well, duh, thank you. That's just a statement. That's not even a comment. Here we go. This comes from Oggs for President, one of our most dedicated fans. I agree with Jeff on this one. One of the greatest things about Star Wars and why it was a big hit is because it's timeless. That's why it's still popular. Name another movie from the 70s that would build a kid's childhood. However, this movie may obviously be a 2016 film. It's not timeless, which takes away from the Star Wars. So what Star Wars truly is. Disney movies think that they need to make Star Wars modernized for a new audience when making a movie without Avengers cinematography would be just fine. In fact, Force Awakens didn't even appeal to the younger audience. It was I was at a 4th of July party and I was talking to this kid who liked Star Wars. So I asked him which was his favorite and he said A New Hope. He said he saw a new one and he hated it. This kid was around 7 years old and he didn't like Rey. That's saying something when a 7-year-old thinks that a Star Wars movie is bad, but this kid enjoyed The Phantom Menace. Well, you kind of shot your argument in the foot there, buddy. In my defense, I saw episode 1 at 10, and I did not like it. We gave our shout-out to the Caped Crusader.
Yay.
Wendy Hull says, who knows if this trailer will be great... if this movie will be great from the trailer. I agree, Wendy. Let's see. Caped Crusader states that Disney's gone run Star Wars into the ground. I could care less what they show in these trailers. Let's see. We also had last week's episode of Let's Rank the Jokers, which not as popular as our Sausage Party review, but whatever. Fans had to say this, if it would load. I guess I should have been more prepared. Todd Howard wants to know...
2020, bro.
Hey, Todd Howard wants to know if Phil has an Xbox One. He wants your gamer tag. Justin B69, Justin B6699 responds, Dr. Ashbrusher 69. I just had to do it, sorry.
Thank you for that.
Yusef Reyes, no way, I was going to email you guys with either Dustin for president or Phil for president? You read my goddamn mind. Dustin responds, you could be my campaign manager.
At first I was flattered, but then he also considered Phil, so.
Boomstick Critique had to let us know that the Joker has more episodes than anyone else in Batman the Animated Series. Okay. And that we're right, though, about other stuff. I'm not even going to read the rest of it. Oh, this comes from Reality's Frank. There's nothing sexist/racist about speaking the truth. Hashtag the triggering. I guess that's back. Yusef Reyes also said this is our second best episode because I couldn't stop laughing when listening to this Shitbusters episode when you read the Jaden Smith tweets. Cool.
That's one of my favorite episodes, too. I agree with that one.
Yeah, but last week was so fucking fun.
It was. It really was.
I went to this comes from Alan Rogers. I went to the opening night of Suicide Squad. I think the movie should have been entitled You'll Want to Commit Suicide in the Movie Theater Squad after watching this. People were clapping and cheering during the trailer for Doctor Strange. Nothing else. Oh, okay. Let's see. This comes from Mandela Man. Jeff, they can change history and have. You guys need to look up the Mandela Effect. I don't know what that is, but I will look it up later. Thank you, Mr. Mandela Man. This comes from Bro Bmomo56. Really awesome show. Found you guys with the Ghostbusters review. Great chemistry. Thank you, sir. I'm glad a lot of people have found that Ghostbusters review because that has really brought us a big, big audience.
Yeah, man. Well, you know, it's what happens when you tell the motherfucking truth, son.
It's what happens when you shit on a movie that mainstream press is afraid to shit on. Like I said, we're not afraid to tell it like we think it is.
I looked up the Mandela Effect.
What's it say?
It says it's an internet meme related to confabulation is the Mandela Effect, a situation where a number of people have memories that are different from available evidence. The term was coined by paranormal enthusiast Fiona Broom, who says that she and other people remember Nelson Mandela dying in the 1980s rather than in 2013.
I think I must have heard of that then, because that sounds relatively familiar.
It's like that Berenstein Bears thing where people thought that it was spelled a different way than it actually is. Just a bunch of retards on the internet.
Well, this guy is not a retard in the internet. CETOLREO says, awesome channel with you guys to the end of the road. Thank you, sir. We got a long road ahead. We are not giving this show up anytime soon.
Where does the road end?
100 million subscribers.
Okay.
Yeah.
If we can hit that goal, I will quit doing this show forever. Okay, not really. I don't know. We'll just do crazier topics. If we have an audience of that size, we'll talk about the weirdest shit.
I think we get 100 million subscribers, we draw straws and somebody dies on air. That's just how it has to play out. We've talked about it in the past.
Hey, I volunteer Dan as tribute. I'm sure he'll be cool with that.
Often.
But Dan died moments before the show went on air.
Well, we'll dig him back up. We'll restart his battery heart and kill him on air for everyone. We'll Bud Dwyer this shit. So this is on our Star Wars Drunk Commentary cast, Dion, which has got a lot of positive feedback. Not a ton of views, but a lot of positive feedback.
Nice.
Smith No Mates has said, wow, you had a surprisingly deep and coherent discussion for a drunk commentary. Can't wait for the rest of the series. I really wouldn't even mind a prequels in Episode 7 just to get more deep ripping from them. We go on
You just may get it.
I'm pretty sure you're going to get the rest of it because I responded with, I blacked out midway through. I have no recollection of what was said. And then Smith responds with, surprising little amounts of I love you guys and a lot of actual Star Wars for Blackout. I must say, speaking on experience here. I told him he's essentially sat down and had a discussion with Dion and I. Let's see. Oggs for President. He says, I hope someday she goes out with, I don't know what that means. Trans race, transgender, bisexual Spider-Man? What? I'm not worried about that. Sorry.
We're confused, bro. That's what he means. We're confused, bro.
We got a lot of people wanting us to do more movies. I'm trying to read the comments that have suggestions. Todd Howard would like us to do Spider-Man. I said I could do that. I have 4 copies of the film. It's no problem.
Which Spider-Man?
The first one.
I'm okay with this.
And then Oggs for President suggests we review Spider-Man 2 and 3 while drunk. I can do that as well. I own 4 copies of those movies each. Brian Lape sarcastically says he would like us to review The Jazz Singer. I suppose that's the Al Jolson classic where he wears blackface. I don't know how to get a copy of that movie, so until it just shows up, I can't watch it.
Thanks, blackface.
I'm just trying to find out what else. Oh, this one comes from David Cowell. World Class Bullshitters really don't get enough credit. They are my go-to guys for film reviews. Thank you, David. We appreciate that. Okay, this one comes from a very pissed off Victor Bangle. Han doesn't shoot first. He's the only one that shot, period. Greedo fucking never had the time to squeeze the trigger. As a Star Wars nerd, please get this shit right. Well, Victor, as a guy who had drank a half a bottle of vodka and doesn't remember that time in his life, I'm pretty happy that I got through the fucking thing without, starting to talk about my taxes or something. So, do me a favor. Drink the same amount of booze that I did. Record yourself with your friend and his wife, and see how coherent your discussion is, because I'm getting comments and compliments that I actually did a good job. So, thank you, Victor, for nothing.
Yeah, thanks, Victor.
Yeah, Victor Maitland. George Lucas, I miss George Lucas, says Caped Crusader. And the rest, there's a lot of comments. I'm not going to read them. Thanks, everyone, for watching these videos. We're going to do I Know What You Did Last Summer. We'll review the Spider-Man movies. Anything you want to hear us get drunk and review, let us know. We will do that, and we will have a good fucking time. So this has been episode 38 of World Class Bullshitters. I'm going to check our email real quick to see if we've got anything new or anything from Goop.com. Does anyone have anything else they'd like to add before we close it out and put this baby to bed?
Every time you say Goop, I kind of want to know what Gwyneth Paltrow's butthole looks like, but
it's
hopefully
hairy.
One day I'll...
No, she's got on record talking about her big bush, so I'm assuming she doesn't shave anything.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Dustin, what were you going to say?
I was going to say, fans, if you have suggestions for the kind of shows you want on the second channel that should be launching within the next month or so, make sure to leave that in the comments. And also, if you have ideas for a t-shirt that you would like to buy, pitch us a design and we'll get that over to incarnatestudios.com. Don't forget the hyphen.
I like that. And our email, the first email we have, Dion, came today at 5:23 p.m.
Oh, yeah.
Goop.com.
Ooh, baby. Ooh, baby. Thanks, Gwyneth.
Mean Girls, which I'm not going to read on air because fuck you, Gwyneth Paltrow. We got the dumbest email from Reddit. Could Meryl Streep be the next Batman? No.
I think it's safe to say no.
We got a bunch of retweets and stuff from Southern Soul Search and Nick Udom, so it's a good guy.
I like that Nick Udom.
And that's about it. Really, nothing else too exciting. That was our email. You can send us one at worldclassbs@mail.com. The best mail.
.com.
And we'll try to read it on air. So, as I said, this is episode 38 of World Class Bullshitters. I've been your host, Jeff Hicks.
I am the man with the plan and the original tan, and yes, I will make out with your mom, Dion Green.
I am the doctor, Phil Sides.
I don't see the problem with stereotypes. Who wanted to assume that they have a bigger dick or control all the media and banks? Trump 2016.
Oh, God. The more you say that, the more I love him.
Trump 2016.